Hello, 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 and welcome back to Enlightenment Essentials. I'm so excited to be here again with Aureya. Hello, hello, hello. It's been a few weeks, but I'm so excited. And today we're going to talk about spirit guides and share a little bit about our experiences with working with guides, how they can help you in your life. And then we're going to do a beautiful meditation to meet some of our guides, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So, Aureya, how about you jump in and tell us your experience with working with guides and how that all started for you?
Okay. Um, yeah, first, just overview. I want to say that I'm a very relational person. I really like heart to heart and spirit to spirit. And so it really makes sense for me to find beings that I can feel in my heart.
Mm,
And I've I think because of my interest, just taught myself to talk to them and believe myself that they exist.
mm,
And now I'm able to channel them so easily and get healings from them. So I just want to say that if you're new to guides, you uh, just ask within if it's really yours to do. Some people really love the feeling of everything is one, you know, like
mm.
a lot of people are connecting with the quantum everythingness, and that's enough for them. They really like more the unity experience. And if you are more like me and you really love that one to one or a group to one, or
Mm.
to help for your clients. I bring in, I'll talk a little bit more later, the types of guides I bring in that do healings and answer questions and are just so brilliant. If you like that idea, then
Mm.
yeah, we can help you.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, another thing that I want to say, kind of overview, is that in the old paradigm, we really thought of ourselves as very separate and that we would have to go somewhere else,
Mhm.
you know, to meet
Yeah.
a guide.
Yeah.
And I always have people, and we will do this in a few minutes, really just invite your guides closer in. And
Mhm.
they're in your
Yeah.
aura. If you're calling them, they will come.
Yep. I'm
And
feeling
they,
them now. I'm getting shivers, shivers, and I'm actually just seeing my aura as well.
yeah,
I don't
it's
know
like
what it is.
they are right there. All they're looking for is your invitation.
Permission. I was going to say that, isn't it? They're really respectful, and actually, that's something that ones I want to come to mind in. They're not like our human counterparts who can just elbow in and give you advice willy-nilly, just jumping over boundaries. To me, it's something that comes through a lot when I talk to people about angels. Like we have to ask them in because they work on kind of in the higher realms. They really honor our free will. So they're not going to intervene unless, I think you probably agree, you might have an accident and they will save you because you're not meant to go yet. So like I've had that literally like a swerve of the car and I'm like, oh, I just got saved because that was literally like nearly a head on. And I stopped and my friend and I looked at each other. But yeah, they won't interfere unless it's in our soul path that they're kind of nudging us on or something. But mostly it is, isn't it? I think you'll agree and nod in there. We have to ask them in, and that is part of. I'm just seeing like it's a certain layer level, and I don't mean that as better or worse, but it's a certain like time that we get to where we're like, oh, there are spirit guides and they want to help me and I want their help rather than battling through on our own, which I know I did for a long time. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Another thing is, when I have been teaching about the chakras, I always give two main things that chakra needs to open and
Okay.
consecrate, get really present and full. And for the heart chakra, it's earth, that the earth getting all the way up under our heart like a little nest. And then it's, the way I say it is like a personal relationship
Mm,
with God or essence or the all that is or a guide or
Yeah.
our own higher self,
Yeah.
because then our kind of human heart that has all the human feelings of doubt and not worthy, and I've done something wrong and can I be forgiven, and all the past life
Mm,
stuff, that our personal heart really needs to feel personally, like for me, because of who I am, loved. And
yeah.
that comes for me really easily when you open to a guide.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and have
And
that
I
personal relationship.
And you know what I that comes to mind again, and it comes when I'm working with other people, but I so need to hear it myself, that our guides really have time for us. If they're working with us and for us, not that they're working for us like like employees, but they're working for our greatest good. They've decided, for some reason we're working with them. They have a lot of time for us if and when and as it's relevant. Whereas I went through a phase where I was starting to realize I really need some help. I need some healing. And I would phone friends, and it was happenstance in their mind, but for me, the what I was getting is that they would never answer when I need them. And people used to say, oh, it's really good to reach out for help. And I was like, okay, I'm really getting to realize, okay, I could really do some help with. No one's answering. And because I was used to tuning in, I was like, oh, this is because actually it's a different type of help I need. I need spirit help because if it's 8 o'clock at night, no one's available. I can talk to my spirit guide at 8 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night, right? Whereas your friend that's got children and a husband and a busy blah, blah, they haven't got the time. They might have the will and the wish and the love to help you. And that was a really big change time for me of like, okay, I love, I'm so blessed with a lot of people in my life, but actually none of them have the time that I need on my journey for my inner work. And it's not their job to. They're my friends, they're not my spirit guides. you know and that really, to me, is the same with the angels and the guides. So they're the friends that can be there any time of the day or night, wherever you are. You don't have to have mobile signal, you don't have to be online and chatting to people. And that has been, for me, in my experience, lifesaver. So
Yeah. I,
yeah,
I find that people who click to this end up feeling like that's their family, that's
yeah,
their spirit family
yeah,
that loves them. And like, for
yeah.
example, I feel very close to Kuan Yin and the dragons, and I feel like they know me, and etc. The Magdalens, So this is a good entree to talk about types of guides. And then Caroline, Mary, and I will just give you just a few snippets of some personal experiences, and then
Mhm.
we'll lead you in.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so uh, it's interesting. A lot of people, when I introduce them, like I'm going to do with you, with this, which is also, by the way, I have a written. If you want it, you can text me. A written guides chat, and you're welcome to have it. Um, uh, but a lot of people, in their mind, their guides are their ancestors. And
Okay.
so they'll think it's my grandmother, you know,
Mm.
it's my great Uncle Dave, And so I want to say that yes, sometimes it is, but it's rare.
Yeah, yeah. I was just getting it's usually not.
Right. Yeah. So, it, you know, it may be, and sometimes it's just when you feel that feeling of being loved, it reminds you,
Mm,
of a,
mm,
a beloved. Yeah,
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 I like that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, so uh, in the there's the personal guides, which I'll say the kinds in a minute, and then there's what I kind of tend to think of as the avatars that are kind of
Mm,
available for everyone. Like Yeshua and Kuan Yin, and Buddha and etc.
mm,
So for the personal guides, again, one of the most popular in people's minds are angels.
yeah.
And I find that many people have an angel as one of their personal guides. I do.
Mm,
Her name is Rosemary.
mm,
And the angels are a group being as opposed to individuated down, like we are on the earth, most of us, though there are many earth angels, humans that are incarnated right out of the angelic planes. I have some friends like that. And that there are, by the way, personality traits and things that help people who have that group identity, and it's so hard to be an individual. So I can help with that. But anyway, um, so the angels go all the way from the archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, etc., down to the fairies, to the little nature divas. But most of the ones that come to us have been working with humans for many lifetimes, and they work with sound.
mm.
You might hear it, in words, or you feel it in your body, and they're working very much with sound. And yeah, so there's the angels. I don't want to get too distracted. There's the angels. There's lineage guides, such as the Magdalene lineage or the Melchizedek lineage. There's kind of religious lineage guides like the Egyptian pantheon, the Indian, Krishna, um, American Indians, the shaman path. There's many, right?
Yeah,
Religious groups that people have worked with in past lives and who are they're still connected.
yeah,
Yeah, uh, there's a guide called Green Tara, for example, that comes to people sometimes. And there's from the Indian nations, there's White Buffalo Woman, and so these lineage guides. Um, and there's kind of more personally, there are beings that you have had lives with here in human life, but they've gone uh, on into their ascension before you, and they love you and want to help you and do projects with you down here.
yeah,
Um, yeah. Speaking of that, there are in that kind of more personal realm, there are medical guides or technical guides or music guides, again, that are part of your soul work. When I first started doing energy work, I had these three guides from that they told me that they used to teach with me elsewhere, that we'd been around the block together. Um, yeah, let's see. So guides you've had Earth lives with, but then also guides you've had Pleiadian lives with, or Arcturian lives, or Andromedan or Sirian lives. And that's usually a group. There may be one that more hangs out with you and is the spokesperson, but usually, if you've come here to bring, like I have, I bring a lot from the Pleiades, like masculine feminine balance, it's for example. Um, you'll have a group that is kind of dedicated to help bring that in for you.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Can you think of any others, Caroline, married? Any
I,
other types?
I almost want to say the animal guides and the woodland
Yes.
spirits, because one of the many kind of profound moments I had actually when I was in Portugal. I was running down the track around, from around the house where I was living, and I just could feel this dragon behind me, this black dragon. And I was like, oh, hi, mate. I'm like running, going, okay. Hi. And I was like, who are you then? And he actually said, I'm actually part of you. And I was like, okay, fair. I kept on running. I was like, do you want to give me a name? Yeah, Mosey. Okay, hi. And then did some work with Benjamin Zachary Shaw, one of our co-authors. I don't know if he was in a book with you, but he was in one of Angela's books. And he said he actually, that dragon was from a parallel life. So we sent him back and called in another one, and I had another dragon come in. So I have another dragon guide. And I know your chapter, right, in the intuitive oracles about dragons, yeah. And actually, as I'm telling you that story, and on the same route, it was just like a route around the lanes, very like rough. In Portugal you have a lot of like non-tarmac lanes, and just the that I was doing this route around, right, and it was another one, and I had a lion come in. And that kind of wasn't a surprise because I'm born in the Lion's Gate, a Leo, right? I always knew I was a Leo. And it wasn't until the recent years it's like, oh, okay, it's 8th of the 8th. And he was just like, just we were just chilling, So yeah, we have animal guides. And also I had a reading at a fair some years ago, and she said, oh, you got two dogs with you. And I was like, I could imagine one, but I don't know why two. And she said, oh yeah, black one and a black and white one. I was like, oh, it's my mum's old dog. And my mum doesn't want to do this type of stuff. So the dog's like, oh, well, I'll hang out with you then, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So, they're around. And I've lived in a way that I don't feel like having a dog is practical for me. I'm too busy and, travel a bit here and there. So it's lovely to know that they're there. If I'm out on a walk, I'm like, oh, hi, guys. So, yeah. I don't know whether they're
yeah,
guides as such, I suppose, the pet animals, but I often feel when people say, oh, I had this cat come to me, and I'm like, they're probably some kind of guide. They're either a soul friend or a guide coming in for different
that's
reasons.
right.
Certainly with the lion and the dragon, they were like, there's wisdom. And again, like you said, for me, the feeling is it's like when I first read about all the different like ascended masters, what people might call ascended masters, which you're saying is like the avatar kind of beings that people really know and have heard of. I felt like I'd come home because a lot of times in my life I'd say stuff and they're like, no, what do you think, you're Jesus? People kind of mocking the way I would believe and things. And that, when I started reading, there was this one website and I was just gorging myself. And I was like, oh, finally, I don't feel crazy because that's how much I care. And people kind of yeah, they interpret you how they will, but it definitely felt like coming home. So there is a guide, as in a teacher student feeling sometimes, but there is a friendship feeling. And I've had that. I've had times when I've got like Kuan Yin, Mary, and I'm like, oh, one part of me is like, oh, thanks. And another part, child part, like, am I really allowed to be here with you? Oh, yeah, but thanks. There's just such a heart feeling. So I
Yeah,
believe, we've lived in different iterations on this earth or in other realms. And they're not strangers. They're new to us in our conscious world, but they're not on a soul level. And that's definitely all of them. It's felt very much like that for me. So yeah.
I'm glad you're bringing up mm, that unfamiliarity feeling of do you really want to talk to me?
Yeah.
I have a dear friend who's very close to Mother Mary and Jesus, who I call Yeshua.
Mm.
And she told me for so many years, just sit with them, talk with them. But I had a block. And finally, when I sat down, I just felt so much that, am I really? And so my request of Yeshua when I started sitting with him is, um, help me receive your love.
Mm. Mm.
And it really worked. And
Mm.
pretty soon he was dancing with me and taking me places that were special to him. And it really was a friendship and so sweet.
Mm.
Yeah. I've
Oh,
had that also personal with Baba G also. But I wanted to say about the animal guides that one of my closest friends has a huge whale that comes, and or maybe it's a dolphin, but she's been a dolphin and a whale before. She has
mm.
memories, but they just come with this big eye and they just give her all this love. So Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm got really glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, and it really is. It's funny you saying about Yeshua Jesus. Like my first love, if you like, in the kind of not really religious sense, because I never kind of quite fully was, there's always a suspicion around the church that something didn't fully align, but I was always like, as soon as I could think, I was like, Jesus, like he's just the dude, and people, and I just knew, I just had this feeling, no, it's not what you think, but he was a healer, he was a dude, and I used to say a lot to people, oh yeah, JC, my homeboy, and Joe, and then bit by bit, it was like actually there was a block, so it's like I knew of them but over there, and there were times I used to pray and I would definitely feel the answers streaming through, but when it like in latter years it's been like, oh, oh, because those layers have become louder, not that they weren't there, but I wasn't quite as grounded to notice that little bit of, oh, am I really good enough? Like I the first angel I saw was Archangel Michael, and somebody was bringing him in for me, saying, I'm going to find a guide for you. And she was describing things, and I would see it before she described it. And I saw the angel, and I thought Archangel Michael. And then she said it, and she was like, oh, that's a surprise. She obviously wasn't expecting it to be this for me. And I was like, oh shit, I could see that. Yeah. And it was really like, thank you. That was a confirmation of my kind of psychic capacity at the time. And there was times when I'm very easy to be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But then bit by bit, it's like, no, that's quite blasé, or there was a bit of bravado, actually would be the right word. And it's like calming that down and go, whoa, am I really? So I've had to play with that. And it still comes and goes, different aspects come up and questions yourself. But they step in, I know, because of the work I do. I'm being guided. Like I 100% know that. I'm so great. And I can feel them literally this whole conversation. I'm like getting shivers and tingles. It's like they're all going, yeah, yeah, we're here, we're here. Hi, guys.
Aw,
So,
nice.
uh, yeah. If we want them, they want us. I really feel like
There,
saying
that's a
that.
lovely thing to say.
They are waiting. They're like knocking at the door. Can we come in? Can we come in? They just,
Yeah,
I sense it's like they're as excited, and I feel like that's obviously, this is why we're doing this work together, isn't it? We were like, well, let's use this platform, use our skills and our gifts and our wishes to help, because we're channels. I feel that very much in different work that I do. And I didn't know that for years. I didn't know, but I did used to pray, make me an instrument. God, I don't know what you want from me, but use me. And so that, I think, was happening. And I get that sense they're really excited. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh, can I do this? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And so much light is coming in for everyone. Our energy systems are ascending into higher frequencies.
Yeah.
Not that we're going to be up and not down, but we're stretching, our
Yeah.
spectrum of consciousness. And
Yes.
you all will start seeing and hearing. And we are just saying, believe yourself.
Yeah.
And, if you want it, if you want that connection, call it. So now I will call the connection for you all in a little guided imagery.
Lovely, lovely.
Yeah, so, find a comfortable seat, make sure
Mm,
your spine is upright but relaxed, and breathe deeply. The
mm.
guides can basically come in and help you more the more oxygenated you are. So go ahead and breathe, and also the more relaxed you are, the more expanded you are. Okay, so we're just going to begin by knowing that your guides are with you and that you do not need to go anywhere to find them, to be with them. They will come to you. So ask now for a guide that you are working with closely in the present time in your life to bring their energy close in to your aura so that you can begin to feel their energy. And just know because you're listening to this, your guides are excited to come make the connect. So enjoy reaching for them and trust whatever you feel. They may come in more from the left or the right, or right in front of you into your heart, or straight down through the top of your head. But just be in the energy of yes. And use your imagination. Just imagine there's a being here now because you've called them. And just begin to describe the energy that you feel. And ask your guide to help you feel in your body where they've been working with you. They may be working in a particular chakra, or they may be working to ground your light all the way through you. Ask them to show you or tell you where they're working in your chakras, in your system, and what are they helping you with there. Good. So if you were on your own, this would be a good time to do what I call sensation meditation, which would be to just follow the energy and they'll give you a healing. But for right now, we're going to find out more about them. So when you ask these questions, you may get an answer, or you may get a feeling, or you may get nothing, but just stay open.
Mm.
So asking whether this guide that has come to you is more male, female, or androgynous. And asking yourself what color or colors are in their energy field. And again, breathe just to allow them to really connect in with you. And now that you're feeling this vibration, this essence frequency of this guide, ask yourself, is this energy of this guide familiar to you? And whether it is or not, have this guide show you a time in your life when they have been with you, a time that they came in and were right with you. And let yourself feel the energy that they were giving you at that time. Good. Okay, we're going to ask them a couple more questions about themselves. Ask if they have ever had an earth life with you, if they've been a human friend of yours, mother, father, teacher, yes or no. And again, you can explore this more later. If you get a yes, you can go back into that life and feel it. Also, ask if you've had a life with them on another planet. And if that feels strong, you can ask what planet. And you can ask, what was your relationship like then? What did it feel like? What were you doing? What were you learning together or teaching together? And you can ask if they have had lives on the angelic planes and if they are an angel right now. And if they are an angel, open yourself to hear the sound that they and their group make. And last couple questions. Ask the guide what you can do to call them in to assist you. For some people, you can get a little tell, like a little shake or something. Other guides will just say, just call me and believe that I'm there.
Yep.
Yeah. And now ask for a name that you can call them. You may get a whole name or you may get a sound. And if you do get a name, you can just ask them, can I call you by this name? Okay, so now just ask them if there's anything they would like to tell you right now. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes. Just ask if there's anything they'd like to tell you, or perhaps you'd like to ask them a question. Good. And before we come out, take a time to thank them and maybe invite them to come back later today so that while you're kind of in this and remembering about your guides, you can have another chat with them. Good. And now, as you thank them, they will thank you back and move a little further out of your aura. So let's take a moment to integrate. When you put your hand on your chest, either between the breasts, personal heart chakra, or above at the sacred heart. Or if it was an emotional session for you, belly button is always a good place to help process the waters, the emotions. Just allow your body to keep receiving this light, integrating. And while you do that, I have a brief channel from my angel, Rosemary, that I just asked her, did she have something to say? And she said she wanted to say something to you all.
Mm.
So while you're breathing in your heart, this is her, she's saying, what we all mostly want you to know is that you are loved. That's what we, are coming to you to uh, help your own light descend into your bodies and especially into your hearts. And your children are here to be in this world, of the astral, of the spiritual connectedness, of their intuition and their knowing. And so you can do these exercises with them, and they can introduce you to their guides or even to yours, because often they can see them if you give them space
Mm.
to see them and hear them. They will, and it might at the beginning be make believe for them, but their guides will come in
Yeah.
and they will get to know them. So we, the angels and the guides, um, yes, we really want to give you the opportunity to know us and to be guided and supported and healed and uh, uh, lifted, into your ascension. And it is our honor and joy to help you. Okay, thanks, Rosemary.
Mm.
Okay,
Good.
Caroline, Mary, you want to say anything? You want to share anything?
I just can't believe I'm having so many shivers. I'm literally like cold, hot, like so they're obviously working on me, while we're doing this. And I had two different images. And one I was like, I'm not sure of you. And I was having a chat with him. There was a male one. And I was like, is there another one? Because I'm not sure about this guy. And it was Kuan Yin. And I remember when you said about being close with Kuan Yin. I went through a phase last year and I was doing a lot of healing with Kuan Yin. And I tend to have phases. Like I had a phase years ago and I used to walk and I was talking to, I believe, Yeshua. And then that arc finished, and so I have this, and I do believe they will be all activating us for different reasons. They come in with different teachings and they come to us. So it was really nice to be reminded of Kuan Yin. And she said, yes, actually, I have known her, and she was showing me like quite a few times where I've known her. And the feeling I have with Kuan Yin is she's like a sister. Again, if I haven't got a part of me coming up and being like, oh, am I worthy? It's just like a sister feeling. And and she was really showing me my heart, because I'm doing a lot of integration, like when we chatted, so that I can do my work in the world, and really feel and believe in it, rather than it being I can do the work but being slightly detached from it. So they're just helping me come into more alignment. So that was really lovely. Yeah, really lovely. And just so many just shivers, 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 shivers. So
I can feel it. I can feel your heart. Uh, it's almost like a dropping in, kind of a deepening. It feels
mm,
so good. You're so powerful. And that's another thing we should say to everybody is that we are all so
mm,
powerful, our actual beings. And this is our time to know that,
yes,
all right?
yes,
And yeah,
absolutely.
to bring it for everybody.
Yeah. And something comes to mind that I used to watch. I can't think of the names at the moment, but there was a school of teaching. From America, and they channeled a lot of Saint Germain and the different ascended masters, and I would watch a lot of their stuff for a while. And they were the keepers of the flame. And there was one quote from, I think it was Kutumi, but it may have been Sanjiman. So Lord Kutumi, he's appeared to me in meditation before now as well. It was kind of a shock horror, but also like, I also know you. So that was funny. And the message that they were saying to the people looking on were, you think that we're special, but the only difference is we prayed more, or we turned to God more, like we made that choice more. And so if you're looking at Aureya and myself and thinking, well, oh, you're doing all this work, it's because literally, I mean, I had my first vision as a child. It was like time stopped still, and I felt like this God moment. It was like, whoa, really like profound. And it stayed with me. So even though, yes, I've taken drugs and been a bit wayward, and always at the back of my mind was like, God's watching me. And actually, I really want to go that way. But I was like, oh, I got so, caught up in peer pressure and wanting to be cool. I wanted my friends and didn't want to be like this nun type person. But the devotion in me has really been like a nun, right? Or something. So I just ended up keep saying, okay, yes to that, rather than yes to the friends going, no, let's do. I walked away from that, and I had to leave a lot of beautiful people away, because they didn't want to live that life of devotion, and that is their choice. It doesn't mean that's a worse or better life. I just knew there was something I needed to follow, and that's why I'm at this point, because I've made my prayers, show me, and I get shown, I get a name and a word and a project, and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. So I just want to say, if you're watching thinking, well, I couldn't do that, yes, you could. It may be that your job, your life path was being a mother, or I don't know, whatever else it was, and that's fine. For me, I just had this really strong God calling, and a lot of people have been come back to earth, Caroline. And it's been a journey, right? But it's like I have to work on my heart to trust that I can do this, because it feels like a dream. It felt like a very distant dream that I was, am I really allowed to, do I trust my knowings? Do I trust my intuition? And that's, we're all on different paths. So I just wanted to really encourage people, if you think, oh, oh, these people are, doing a show already. And it's like, it's taken me courage to just, take that on once I was given that as an idea. Um, and just keep taking the steps, do the healing, make your prayers, call in your guides, and your life will change beyond recognition. It's just following those nudges. And I do want to what's coming to mind is, you may already be working with your guides without knowing. I want to say most people are. That's my sentence that I'm getting. And for me, how this can turn up is if you make a question in your mind. So you are legitimately asking a question, which means you can legitimately give an answer. It's like you're making a prayer without knowing that you're making a prayer. So, for example, if I remember profoundly the first time this happened very clearly. I remember thinking, God, I just want a spiritual friend. This was way before like I'd left my partying days. And I was just like, oh God, and it was a loud prayer that I didn't know I was making. And very soon, within the week, I had a phone call from somebody saying, hey, you want to hang out? I was like, oh yeah, okay then. And she started talking about the book, is it The Dream or that book, the about manifestation? Everyone talks about it. I can't remember. I can see the cover now. But she was, oh, I've got this book and da 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 da. And I was like, oh my God, like donk. It was like this sliding door moment. So don't think for a minute that because you haven't consciously worked and you hadn't got a name and you don't know whether you really believe in Jesus, that they're not actually still helping you. They will have been there waiting. And if there is a chink of permission that you've made in something that you've said or done, then they will be bringing ideas. So sometimes it's a feeling. Sometimes I've had it where I think, oh, I can't leave my house. Or what's going on? What's going? And then suddenly I'm like, oh, I'm going now. I'm ready. And I walk into a shop and the thing that I needed was there and I meet the person that I needed to meet. And that is an example where somebody around you, your guardian angel, higher self, or guide will be like putting you off, nudging you away from the door. And then suddenly, yep, go now because the time is right, right? Because they see beyond what we consciously see from a human. So I just really wanted to share that because there's times when I'm very dense about things because I'm so set on something and I'm missing other things, and you think other people are flourishing in other ways, because not that they're consciously choosing to work with guys, but they somehow are working in that alignment. And maybe, like you were saying, Aureya, they're working in the oneness, so they're receiving wisdom. And people say from the universe. Well, you could say it's the universe at large, but it might be the 20 guides around you helping you. Who knows, right? So, and that's the thing. We're all very unique in how we work, and the guides know how we work, so they'll work with us. So, yeah, it's a unique unfolding, isn't it, on this path?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're speaking to really asking for what you want. I used to call it yelling at God, to be really adamant. Like, I want a spiritual friend. I really want that. If you say it every day with your whole heart and you believe that, you will be given to, what is in your best interest.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yay for asking.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have one more thing that I wanted to bring, and that's something that I've been doing now for maybe 5 years. Um, I met this group of guides. Um, I was doing some, I'm trying to remember the name of it, tachyon chamber healing. And I try to not go to sleep when I'm in that. I try to really basically invite the guides to work with me. But I had gone out and I woke up and there were 14 light beings standing around me. And, that's a little scary to wake up to. And I always ask when I get, these experiences like, do I know you? And they always laugh and they say, yes, and you're one of us. And we're from a series of light ships that all work together, which is called a command. And we go by the name Command 1221. And you are part of us and you can channel us. So I started working with them just for myself, and the healings were profound. And so then I started doing it for my friends. And then I started doing it for, classes that I teach. And I have done that a lot. And everybody always gets something because they're so clear and so loving and so smart. And now I do it 2 or 3 times a day for individuals. And I just want to say kind of how it works because it's fun and cool and kind of out there. Because there's truly beings from many, many planetary systems, on these ships, and they're specifically here to work with the light beings. And lots of times when I'm channeling for someone, they will say, you have a perfect channel to channel us for others, and it's, they really want to be of service, and they want people to trust themselves enough to, work with them individually or for others. So when I call them in, I just know kind of where to go now. And it's almost like an entry desk that kind of, when I call to them, I say Command 1221, so you guys can do it. Command 1221 3 times. And I just send my energy, and now I know exactly kind of where I get brought. And then it communicates across the whole field. Like everyone hears it. It took me a while to get that. But then I say, I'm calling you in right now for, Caroline Mary, let's say. And they feel the vibration of that person, and they basically send the soulmates, and lineage guides and, yeah, beings that are aligned. And they send 2 or 3 what I call lead guides, or overseeing guides, and then, you know, 2 to 7 healer guides. And specifically, if I ask, sometimes I ask that we just want some perspective, want to ask some questions. Sometimes I ask, we'd really like some, energetic healing. And sometimes I say we would like both of those things. And then the guides come in. I can see who they are. I know probably 20 of them now. Sometimes some come in that are personal guides of that person. And sometimes, again, it's avatars or lineage guides that are part of their system. Like 2 men that I'm working with individually are a part of the Melchizedek tradition, which I don't know that much about, but boy, can I recognize that frequency now.
Mm.
And it's beautiful. So the overseeing guides will give an overview for the person, and often I will have given a little spiel of what they're working on, emotionally, physically, spiritually, what they're looking for. I do a lot of work with people's where they're going in their purpose, their service, their work.
Mhm.
Um, if they give me names of, some CEO that they're working with, I can always look at the relationship and, if they're a soulmate, what they have agreed to give to each other in this life. And yeah, and then the energetic healing. Occasionally they ask me, because I'm an energetic healer, to work with them or do some sound healing while I'm channeling or holding space for them to work. Yeah, so I just wanted to say it's coming to this place that we can know these beings just like I know you.
Mm.
And then I just want to say, and not elaborate, but I'm also working with inner earth beings, and
Okay.
they are amazing healers as well. So,
Oh, amazing.
yeah,
Amazing. So
amazing.
would like to hear more. Perhaps we can do another episode on the inner earth and you can share something about that. But you can connect with Aureya down there. We'll put the info so you can connect to us and do feedback. It would be lovely to hear if you watch this and you got some clear guidance. And I want to say, if you didn't, keep watching and go through the steps, because honestly, I have made a lot of prayers in my life, right? So therefore, this feels it. I still have parts doubting, but it feels very much more normal than perhaps somebody that's never tried. And it's the same with workshops, with healing. I've done a lot of healing, I've done a lot of coaching, which always contains healing. So I'm very used to different feelings. But we're all still learning, so just trust that it's not that they're not there, but if you have never looked with your inner eye, then this will be the beginning. If you've never thought, oh, I might sense, then you're not used to sensing, a being in your aura. But it doesn't mean you're not capable. So just trust, and take the steps. And, you can ask them to show you as well. And again, if you don't hear it as a direct auditory answer doesn't mean you're not going to be getting frequencies that contain information that you'll receive at a certain point as well. So
Very good.
you
That's
know,
right.
a lot of times I meet people who are claircognizant that they don't know what that means, which is clear knowings. And they just have like, oh, this, I just got to do this. I just got to phone this person. That is you being intuitive. It is a different energy frequency than the seeing. Like I saw very clearly some energy before, I saw these two guides and, you know, it's just practice. So just trust, I want to say, and just don't think that the first hurdle you failed, so that's it or something. It's not like that at all. It's just practice and being attuned. And the more it's like um tuning your radio dial in, right? And you might go, oh, it's a bit crackly, and then you lock on, and then it becomes a lot easier, and you get more and more at ease with tuning in. It's like meeting somebody, isn't it? Right? In this life, you tune in, and then you find how you work together, and that takes practice, and that's okay. So
Yeah, I have two more things to say. One is along that line. Um, I've taught people for so long to work with their energy system and to feel their chakras. And um, at the beginning, you can use your imagination.
mm,
Your you think you're making it up, but your imagination will go along with what is the truth.
yeah, yeah, so it's meeting from both
Yeah,
sides.
it meets. So same thing with the guides. You can imagine. You can do. Um, People used to call it automatic writing. I call it clear channeling. You just
Hmm.
call them in and ask questions and write whatever comes to you. And
Mm.
you can think that's your imagination, but at least some of it will be directly from your
Sure.
higher self or from the guides.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And then the one other thing I want to say is because I've had a number of spiritual development schools, I have many, many guided meditations.
mm.
And, you all are welcome to have a session with me or even just contact me and say, do you have a meditation on this chakra or on this aspect of spirituality
Hmm.
that I'm working on, and I can send you things. That's what they're there for. That's how they got channeled through me is for you.
Yeah,
So I'm a resource.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you so much, Aureya. Oh, I just feel so topped up with love and soul nourishment. I'm so grateful. Oh, thank you. So I
Yeah.
am gonna say thank you. Thank you to all the guys. Thank you for all the beings that have held us in this space. And we will be back. Isn't that right, Aureya? We will
Yes.
tune in and see what the next subject is to bring through, and we will see you in maybe it's a few weeks' time. Do reach out to us or comment, and we'll get in touch back if you've got any questions or there's anything you'd like to ask. Do reach out, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Caroline Mary.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much.